Milestone Radio. You listen to my daddy.
What's good, my listeners? You checking in to Mindstone Radio with your voice of logic and reason, conscience prep. Bringing to you Memoirs of a Quadriplegic. So basically, I just want to talk about my condition and, where it can affect you mentally and what goes on, as far as the lifestyle or, just the mental status, man, the lifestyle and, the obstacles to overcome and, the people being here and the people not being here. And, so every once in a while, aside from my regular segments, I might do a segment that's based on the memoirs of a quadriplegic. Basically like a verbal journal, so that the people can understand what I may deal with or how I feel mentally when it comes to dealing with my condition. So, as most may know, I'm a quadriplegic, so I'm unable to move from pretty much my shoulders below. God blessed me with the opportunity to utilize my right arm, overcome the ventilator. When I had a hole in my throat, I had a trach. I had a halo, which was removed from my head. I had my ventilator removed, so as time got by, man, I got stronger, but with all of that, that was in the hospital. And coming out of the hospital, when you would hope, you would have aspirations. And a lot of people didn't even expect me to try to come out the hospital immediately after my accident and try to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue, to try to move forward in life. I wanted to go to school, I wanted to do something productive, but it doesn't always go that way. Because you don't really have that type of control over your life no more being a quadriplegic. You kind of like live off permission. You live off the opportunity that may present itself, but doesn't always present itself in the way that you may expect. I remember being in the hospital and I used to just sit in there and I'm like, man, I want to get out. I want to be normal. I want to be able to do things. I want to go to shows. I want to go hang out, be around people, try to be out in the community, be active, be socially active. The school environment offers that to an extent, but it didn't happen. It's almost impossible to happen to that extent, because like I said, it's a matter of permission. It's a matter of the opportunities being available, but it's also a matter of support and help, because I can't do anything because it places a burden on the next person. It places another responsibility or another objective or another task on the next person, and then that's not easy within itself. Dealing with this condition, I've come to find out that, well, I'm not going to say I found out, but, it makes you question, what is expected in the life or of the life of a person that's a quadriplegic or even higher. What do they expect of us? What life are we supposed to have? Aside from feeling like a burden or feeling like we're bringing down people or, we're too much. What life or is a quadriplegic supposed to have? You know, when I look at a lot of people that are in my condition, you know, some of them I don't really see them with a mate. Some I do see with a mate. Some have nurses. Some don't have nurses. Some have family members. And it all seems to have that same vibe. You know, you can tell there's like something's not right. You know, there's a lack of happiness. You know, there could be some depression there. There could be some stress. You know, so it just makes you wonder, what life is a quadriplegic supposed to have? You know, like seriously. And I got a friend, and you know, he talks to me and he texts me, and sometimes he goes through certain things, and you know, he wants to submit. And when I say submit, like he's like, I'm just tired. I can't do this. And I tell him like, bro, you got a good nurse. You got your family. You got a good support bracket. His support bracket bigger than mine. You know, because he got his family there. You know, he got more people there to help. You know, he got a good nurse. You know, he got his friends that come from out of town to come there and be with him. And, you know, he's able to go out, go to games, and, you know, they do things, but he's unable to move completely. Like his injury is above mine. He has a ventilator, you know, and his injury is above mine. So it's like, you know, he's in his chair. He's unable to move. He can't move his arm like I can, you know. Then he has to have the ventilator with him, so he's constantly checked upon. But it's still not easy. And then he sees me and he feels like I'm doing better. Or, you know, I'm an inspiration. I'm a motivation. And it's like, bro, I wish you really knew. Like, I appreciate it, but bro, I'm not doing too much of anything. I don't get to do as much as you do. You know? People not happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy because, you know, I wonder, when a person becomes a quadriplegic, like, are they supposed to have a certain lifestyle? Are they supposed to, you got people like Christopher Reeves, and you got people that are famous and, you know, that are certain positions, you know, as far as paralysis, and they're billionaires. These dudes they have things that precede them, you know, but just some regular kid off the block, you know, from South Los Angeles, and becomes a quadriplegic, you know, dealing with, you know, I grew up with a family, you know, mom's there, you know, pops, you know, he kind of went out of town and things were a little different. But I looked at things as dysfunctional. You know, it was a lot of dysfunctional issues. You know, there wasn't no real unity in the family of mine, my family, you know, the family that I grew up with, my immediate family. You know, there wasn't no real unity. People were in and out of jail. You know, all my brothers, we were never out at the same time. You know, so when I got paralyzed, you know, really most of them were not around, were not there. One was incarcerated. The other one was going through personal issues in the street. And the other one, he finally came home and showed up, and, you know, but, you know, to take on the responsibility of his older brother being paralyzed and he just got out, it's like, oh man. And, you know, people talk a good game. You know, they'll tell you one thing, and, you know, then when it comes down to it, it can't happen, or it won't happen, or it never happened. You know, I sat in that hospital and I was told so many things by people, you know, that significant others and people that are supposed to be close to you, you know, then when it comes down to it, it's like, damn, what happened? You know, you get looked at crazy. I get looked at crazy. You know, it makes you feel like, damn, I'm really a burden based on this condition. And that's what the type of family, that's what the type of people I deal with. You know, there's only one person that stuck through, and I can give full credit, you know, but even still, you know, I question, you know, like, I was coming home today and I was saying to myself, shit, are quadriplegics, are people with paralysis, are they supposed to be involved? Are they supposed to be with somebody? Are they supposed to be married? Are they supposed to have spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends or whatever it may be, because people get left behind in this position, and then people are of no interest in this position or these conditions. You know, some every once in a while might have somebody, but and even the guys that are, paraplegics, I see them mention things like, yeah, I broke up, or yeah, I'm single, or I'm not involved, and and it may be because of personal reasons. Can they have children? Oh, sexual issues. He can't perform, so you have women that are like, oh, well, he can't do that, so I don't want to be involved with a guy in a chair. Then you have guys in chairs that are, players. They get people, but I'm not in that type of situation. I'm married, but things are different now compared to standing up. It was like a whole complete 360, just a whole post-traumatic stress issue. And, but it just gets to me, man. Like, it's so many issues that transpire, so many conflicted attitudes, that it just throws you off. It throws me off completely. I sat there and I'm like, okay, a person goes through an emotional issues, and I wonder, like, am I supposed to have feelings? Are we supposed to have emotions? Can I have concerns, without feeling like you're wrong for voicing anything? Sometimes it's like, man, you're a quadriplegic. Be happy you got help and accept that. But it's like, you can't say nothing. You can't address anything. You're not supposed to have emotion. Sometimes I feel like I don't know. What am I supposed to do as a quadriplegic? You just sit down and just accept everything. You don't say nothing about anything. You just be thankful. I'm thankful every day. I'm thankful every day. I thank God every day, that my wife and my daughter is here. I pray every day. I try to do things to still help, and sometimes it's like nobody's looking for a slap on the back. I wouldn't be able to go to school if somebody didn't get me up to get me dressed and to go anyway. But what if I came home and didn't want to do anything? What if I came home and just chose to just live off SSI? Would that be acknowledged as something, to be thankful for? But I chose to go to school to inspire people fresh out the hospital. I haven't been inspired. You know what I mean? Like, I chose to come home and go to school and say, let me bring something to the table the best I can. Utilize my financial aid for something. Try to make holidays. Try to make people happy. But sometimes it's like, man, there's more expected of a person that can't move. Then there's more expected mentally, but it's not accepted. You know what I mean? And, it just throws you off, man. Dealing with this quadriplegic issue, man, mentally, and I think that's one of the reasons I tried to create my podcast. And when I created that, man, I had like aspirations and, like I had a whole different setup for the way that my podcast was supposed to go. I wanted to, I see people on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and, they got their co-host and, they turned up, they got the background, they talk and they, interacting on topics and, and it's like, that's not the plan. That was the plan, but it's not happening that way. So, it just throws you off, like, and it throws me off, man. I just try to figure it out, when it comes to being in this condition. What could I do? What can I do? What will bring happiness? What will help me in this condition? What will help me help everyone else in this condition? That was a platform that I wanted to do to motivate people, inspire people, to talk to people. And like, I was real enthused about it, real happy about the whole Mindstone radio thing, And then I'm still trying to find options. I'm still trying to find things to do to bring happiness, to bring, to overcome the depression. And see, that's the thing. When people go through depression, you find ways. You have to find ways to kind of cope out from that shadow, to cope out from that dark cloud, to remove it, because I feel like mentally there are ways, there are avenues, but some people submit to it. Some people just accept it. Some people don't want to fight it. Some people don't want to come from under it. Some people just accept things. And I chose not to just accept things. And even still, without having control or options. It's like I said, it's always about permission. It's always about the opportunity if it is available. I just understand that some people being in this condition, like for example, there's a foundation, the foundation that I won the wheelchair van from, Triumph Foundation, and I see them online, man. I get emails. I see them online, man. They have, they go to games. They do all types of active activities for people with paralysis, and I was supposed to interact, with, one of the founders and one founders of it, and go to these events and all that, but I don't. The opportunity doesn't present itself. And it's just a matter of, being available, and it's not that I don't want to, I want to understand people. I want to see if quadriplegics have action, have avenues of happiness. I want to learn from other people, and I also want to inspire and give other people motivation, because I talk to people at my school that are also in the same position. There's other quadriplegics that are at my school. One has a nurse, the other one he rolls around kind of by himself, just like I do. You know what I'm saying? We can't even really shake hands, but we move around and we chop it up, and the thing about it is, someone can benefit somebody in a way mentally. And, I try to benefit people mentally, and I need to be benefited mentally. I can't talk to nobody. I don't have people to talk to, and most of you will be surprised by that. Like, how you don't have nobody to talk to? Hey, man, it's, sometimes it just be that way. It could be a divide. It can be, no lack of communication. It could just be, some people just don't want to talk, so you have to find different avenues of trying to release and vent and talk to people. And I think that's the reason why I made this podcast. That's another reason I made this podcast, is to talk, because I don't have too many people to talk to. And I'm doing this to help people, but there's nobody there to talk to me and help me. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's really a trip, man. Being in this position. I feel like as a quadriplegic, like, you have to be strong to accept that it's a possibility you won't be happy. You have to be strong-minded to accept that there are not many opportunities for you as far as employment or trying to do something constructive. We can't get on roller coasters. We go to amusement parks. The most we can do is watch our kids and our mates or whoever it is that we go with have fun. It's a lot of things like you have to be strong-minded about as a quadriplegic. And like I said, I question, the whole relationship factor. Is quadriplegics, people with paralysis, are we supposed to be in relationships? Because, some people will submit, or, some people will be so terribly unhappy You know, they look at you crazy every day, you know, yell at you or whatever it may be, you know, blame you for everything. You know, you looked at as a burden, you know, so it's like with that, you know, are we supposed to be in relationships? You know, yeah, you was before the accident, or, you know, and during the accident, or during the transition of being paralyzed, you know, but it's like, how long does it last? You know, aside from being a billionaire, you know, running the company or something. But I mean, like, how long does it last? You know, when you just, you know, middle class, low class family, you know, and that's what it is statistically. You know, we not high class. You know, we not a part of that social class. We not with the elites. We not, you know, the big communities, you know, homes and like most people are. But, you know, I come from a black family out of South Los Angeles, you know. So, you know, statistically, you know, that's the low class, you know, because we're the minority, we're blacks. So, you know, there's a lot of messed up expectations in black families. You know, people that are quadriplegics, they can be, I'll give you an example. And this is a fact. And this is being personal with it. My family, you know, the one that turned on me, you know, mother, brothers, you know, the home that, you know, that I grew up in. Now, say if I had to go to that home, I would be in the back room all day. You know, it'll probably be people helping, but there'll be a whole lot of complaining, moaning, and issues, and it'll just be uncomfortable. And ain't no telling, you know, how my health would be and my spirits would be, you know, just to ask for something or have somebody do something for me. It'll be so many mans and moaning and groaning and, you know, they'll probably just wait for the check, get the check. I wouldn't get what I need out the check. You know, there wouldn't be my responsibilities or my hopes and concerns wouldn't get handled. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get that check and bust it and call it a day. Then you got people that are in other positions. A lot of girlfriends, they'll take the money and get on. Yeah, straight up. A lot of women will take the money from a person with paralysis and leave. Or they'll leave them or they'll cheat on them. You know, I'm not going through that. But that happens. You know? It looks like when people are paralyzed in the black community, like they really don't have no real support. You know, somebody's going to leave. Something's going to happen. Somebody, you know, from what I was told, you know, you just going to end up in the hospital by yourself without your family. You're going to lose everybody. I've heard it before. You know, I get told so many negative things. Sometimes it's ridiculous. So, you know, it's like, damn, okay, you know, okay, I dig it. You know, so what does that mean I should do? Do I try my best to appease people? Do I give everybody money? Do I let everyone have their way? And do I just sit in the bed and lay down all day and don't say nothing? Do I not ask to go anywhere? Do I try not to go anywhere? Do I try to find something, find somebody that can help so everyone else can go everywhere and not have to worry about me? Because, you know, when you're a quadriplegic, you're going to forever feel like a burden because everyone's always moaning and groaning or looking mad or being sad or whatever it may be when it comes to being around you. You know, you might get people here and there that might be supportive and may love your company and want to be there to help you. But, you know, overall, it's like nobody really wants to deal with a person in that condition. Not on a personal level. That's how I feel. And I'm just being real. And this is all not even going into real detail. You know, this is just me, like really speaking on some real stuff. Memoirs, like I'm really telling y'all how I feel. You know, I feel like, you know, when it comes to being quadriplegic, being paralyzed, you know, it's like, it's so hard on everyone else. It's so hard on certain people that eventually that person is going to end up alone. You know, my sister told me, not my real sister, but a homegirl, you know, a friend of mine, she told me like, man, look, they got facilities, they got buildings, nice apartment complexes where, it's not a nursing home, but, they have nurses that come check on you, do their rounds, and, your money is your money, and you got ways of being stable here. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know they had places like that. And that was just a second idea, man. Something to take in consideration. Like, well, when all else fails, man, this is what I'm gonna have to do. Sometimes you gotta mentally prepare yourself. And that's sad. I could be sitting there going to school and there could be a negative episode or a messed up vibe. And I'm just like, man, let me just go on and mentally prepare myself for what I'm gonna have to do to make sure that I'm okay in my future, since, everything is so bad and, so burdensome and there's no happiness for nobody else. Let me just figure out my avenues and figure out what I need to do. Because, I feel like emotionally, we're not supposed to have emotion. That we're not supposed to have concern. We're not supposed to ask. We're not supposed to respond. We're supposed to accept and settle. And it's like, man, damn. Then when you do not try to accept and settle, it turns into an issue. And that's just, it's like, man, that's crazy. Prior to the accident, man, I tried to do a lot. I wasn't the, well, shit, I felt like a grade A alpha male. I went hard. I tried to step on jobs all the time. I tried to, be smart, stay out them streets, My wife changed my life, as far as taking me and accepting me and, the childbirth and being married, like all that stuff, like that was a blessing, but like things change, man. Like, and it just throws you off. This accident changed a lot. It changed everyone mentally, and it changed everyone mentally so bad that it's like, I don't want to say terrible, but mentally terrible. Because like I said, it puts you in a headspace to where it's like, what do I do now? What can I do? So I'm supposed to just sit here and just accept. I'm supposed to sit here and not say anything. I'm supposed to sit here and be alone. I'm supposed to sit here and stay divided. I'm supposed to sit here and not have aspirations. No goals. Stop everything. I don't want to lose motivation. I don't want to lose being an influence. I don't want to lose being an inspiration. I don't want to lose trying to be a positive example for my daughter. And even a great husband. But it seems like all that stuff has been broken down to where it's like, well, you might just have to just focus on being a great example for your daughter, or, trying to be an inspiration at school. But going to school, you have to be motivated. Like, you have to be motivated. You have to want to do that. Like, like you can't go to school after a messed up day or a messed up incident, in your environment, whatever it may be, or bad vibes or bad energy, spiritual attacks, and just feel like, oh, let me go to school and feel good. You mess around, be messed up in class and don't want to do nothing. Now, I've been there and it's like, damn, why I got to go to school like this? Why we have to wake up like this? And of course, you have to apologize for everything. And it just throws me off, man. Sometimes I'm in a position, I guess that's why I haven't made any segments lately. Because, but you lose the motivation. I was considering making me a whole new channel, for myself, my memoirs, and just to speak, because like I said, when I created Mindstone, I had aspirations for it to be a certain way. And when I talked about it, there was energy for it to, yeah, we're going to have it this way. Let's do it that way. And then it just turned into like a divide, this segment and that segment. It's like, what happened to segments together, or, the unity, the union of it? I'm looking for a new co-host, for somebody that has enthusiastic energy, ambition, and wants to really get together and be like, hey, I'm pulling up, or, however way I'm going to network it. I have ways I'm going to set it up to where it's like, man, we're going to be online together, Then when the opportunity comes, booyah, I'll set up the camera. I got the mics. All right, let's go. I got 2 of them. Let's talk. Let's do what he do. But I can't, I don't know, man. Like I said, I feel like I'm supposed to settle in life, accept the fact that I'm a burden as a quadriplegic, and accept the fact that, we have no opinion. We really have no say. It's all about permission. It's all about the opportunity being available. I can only just be thankful that God really allowed me to be alive, to be a father to my daughter, to still be here with my wife. But, there's always a but, because it feels like, from what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong because I don't see every quadriplegic's relationship, but you got people that aren't involved. They're just focused on other things. They might have a situation here and there every once in a while, as far as being involved in a relationship or whatnot. But, for the most part, it seems like a quadriplegic is not supposed to have that type of future. Like, it's like I'm lucky to be involved. I'm lucky to be someone still here. But, it seems like, you would get the impression like, oh, that's, it's coming to an end. Eggshells, issues, not happiness, no happiness, lack of happiness, division, and that's not what you want. You as a quadriplegic, you want to be involved. You want the other person to be happy. You want to try to do things together to have fun, but you can't force the unity of trying to have a happy relationship on the next person when they're not in good spirits, when it's all because of everything that surrounds you. And it's going to all still come down to the fact that it wouldn't be like this if you was paralyzed, if you wasn't paralyzed. It doesn't matter. Couldn't nobody tell me anything. Can't nobody say that everything negative that's going on in my life, or everything that I'm having to accept, or even the issues you hear me might bring up, or if the issues you're listening to, you understand, or when I talk to friends and they understand me, or whoever it is that I may communicate with that understands or see what's going on, you cannot tell me. And the reality of it is, everything would not be like this if I was not paralyzed. There'd be no settling. There'll be a lot of fun. They'll be happy. You'll be happy. She'll be happy. They'll be happy. All of a sudden, family will be around. You know what I mean? But when I got paralyzed, things changed. And me trying to do the show, me trying to go to school, me trying to do everything else is all me trying to redirect my focus of happiness. I'm sitting there trying to help everybody else, man. Straight up. Just trying to help everybody else. At the same time, you helping everybody else, and inside you sad or you angry, you not in good spirits, but you making segments to help everyone else. You as in myself. You know what I mean? I get help, physically as far as the day-to-day routines, but like I'm talking about mental health, like, talking to your mate, talking to somebody that, talking to your mom, talking to your father, talking to your brother, somebody that can bring you in a good headspace to let you know they support you They got your back. It's love. It's real care, happiness. You know what I'm saying? Not, irate, agitated, pissed off. None of that. Bad energy. Dealing with spirits. Like, come on, man. And I'm being strong when it comes to that. Because I know how to hide it. I know how to redirect my focus. But it's just like I sit here and think about this whole quadriplegic stuff, man. And I'm like, God, am I supposed to be alone? Like I asked that the other day. I literally, matter of fact, literally in my phone, in my notes, I was going to write a poem, but I never really started on it. And it was basically like, am I supposed to be alone? I asked that question, like, it was to God, to the Creator, the Most High. God, am I supposed to be alone? Like, are you removing everyone or am I losing everyone? Because it is a difference, I'm losing people because of the whole burden situation. They blame it on you. It might be your attitude, whatever it may be. People don't want to understand you. When you're a quadriplegic, you get no understanding. They don't want to understand you. Shut up. There's no understanding. You have to understand everyone else. You have to understand everyone else. And you know how many times I asked everyone else to be understood? You know how many times I tried to confront family members and say, tell me what's wrong? And people will look at you weird and not respond. And well, I'll try to get them to understand me, but we're not supposed to be understood. We're supposed to accept when you're a quadriplegic. And it's just a sad story, man. I don't want to throw it out there like that, man. I'm not trying to make everyone, this is not a sympathy. I'm not asking for empathy. I'm not asking for pity. It's more so, and it's crazy. I can't even ask for understanding, because we don't get understanding when you're in this condition, I can just say, just hear me out. That's all. So every once in a while, I'm going to post Memoirs of a Quadriplegic. It's just me basically. I'm not even going to chronologize a day-to-day experience, but, I just got to give the listening community, some input on what my life experiences is, because I was supposed to have a lot of YouTube segments, video, you can see me, how you see most other podcast shows, with the table at the mic, clothes on, not from the bed, and I'm talking to my community, and I get people to see like, okay, this guy's really in the chair, so it was to inspire you. It was to give you motivation to see, okay, he's talking to us and he's like this. Oh, he's happy. He's strong. He's persevering. He's overcoming. And he's going through all this negative stuff. Not happy, really. Feeling like a burden, feeling bad. Trust and believe, man. Like, it gets real, but it is what it is. I can only pray on it, man. But I'm not trying to hold you over to this long segment. Conscience prep. Conscious prep, man. Checking out Mindstone Radio. All praises be to the Most High. Memoirs of a Quadriplegic. Y'all take care.
You better think about it.